Good morning, folks. Today my guest is Charlie Edwards. Now, I think many of you probably know Charlie Edwards. He was a judge in a play about 8 years ago or so, 7 or 8 years ago, and he was well known at that time. As a matter of fact, he was a celebrity around here for a few months after being the judge in that play. But he also was an archer, and he's won a couple of awards in archery, the National Games Award, and so we're going to talk about that toward the end. But first we're going to talk a little bit about his life. And Charlie Edwards, he's 99 years old. Spry, and he always greets you with a laugh, and he's got a grip like a prize fighter. So, Charlie, good morning, and welcome to Who's Who.
Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your current family. Where do they live?
I have 4 children.
You have
three girls. And back in my time, 4 was about what you're supposed to have.
Yeah, that's right. I had 4 too.
I had 3 daughters and a son. And
I had 3 daughters and a son.
Well, how smart of us.
That's right.
How
We
clever.
quit after the son, huh?
Clever, yeah. And so right now, one's in California, one's up in New England, one's in Falls Church, and the other one's over in the district. So 2 close by.
Oh, good.
The son's close by, and that's good because he can fix anything, you
Good,
know.
huh?
Yeah, anything gets broken, he's there. Daughter, real good at taxes and things like that. So I'm lucky to
So
have
you're well taken
2
care
of them close. Yes,
Yeah.
well cared for.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Now, what about your early life? You were born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Tell us a little about your folks.
Yeah, Bethlehem was owned by Bethlehem Steel Company then. Later went bankrupt. The whole unbelievable to us back there, 70, 80 years ago in Bethlehem.
Big steel.
That they would ever die. But in any event, my father worked for Bethlehem Steel Company, and I went to Bethlehem High School. I swam and wrestled, and went to Lehigh, which was a university there, majored in metallurgy,
Okay.
of course. When it was over, went to work for Bethlehem Steel Company.
Well, before we get you into work, let's talk a little bit about high school. You say you wrestled in high school?
Yeah, wrestled.
And you swam?
And swam, yeah.
Okay.
And I was real busy with, even before that, when I was a little kid, we played football and baseball and those things, using crazy ball, whatever looked like a baseball, and we weren't very well organized, but did all the kid things.
Yeah. Well, did you play high school baseball in?
No.
Just wrestling and
Just
swimming.
wrestling and swimming.
Yeah. And then when you went to Lehigh, you also
Yes,
were you on the wrestling team.
I wrestled intercollegiately. Yeah. And
Did you win any? Did you win most of your bouts? I'll bet you.
Oh
did.
yeah, I won most of my back. I was on a team that won the Eastern Intercollegiates.
Yeah. Were you as determined then as you are now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought maybe you were.
I had a wonderful young life. Very little that was bad about it.
Yeah.
Family, loved my family. They were all good people.
Well, I would say at this point in life, you like it too. Even at 99 years old,
Oh yeah,
you still are having fun. Huh?
life is good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change much. Every once in a while, something breaks, but they stick it back together again.
And you've had that attitude all your life, I'll bet.
Yeah.
You
And,
wake up in the morning and you say,
Yeah. Now, what am I going to do today?
that's right. What's going to be fun today? It's going to be fun, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, really, I'm uncommonly happy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what makes you live long.
Maybe. That's a good point.
Even though grandmother was 99 and mother was 93, but actually my daughter just decided, she checked it, I am the oldest my family ever had.
Okay.
Because I'm 99 and about a couple of weeks older than my grandmother was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you have good genes then, obviously.
I'm passing them along to my whole family. I hope that they're all going to live to be 100.
Yeah, well, my
I
mother
think they
lived to be
will.
95, but my dad died at 76. So when I got to be 76, I was concerned.
Sure.
Now
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
89,
Yeah.
almost 89. Gee.
You could be my son, for
Not
goodness
quite.
sake.
Only
Come on.
10 years, Charlie.
Yeah. Well, I was a very precocious kid.
See,
Yeah.
you were.
No, yeah, I know what your mother's maiden name was.
All right. You graduated from Lehigh.
Yep.
And went to work for Bethlehem Steel. And now it's getting close to the time that Pearl Harbor came on.
Yeah, they sent me out to the Johnstown, Pennsylvania plant. I worked in the open hearth, and I was banging out tens of thousands of tons of steel.
Yeah.
And that was badly in need at the time. So on the way home from night shift one time, my buddy told me about Pearl Harbor. And of course, where the hell is Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
no
the way
idea.
we all felt. Huh?
Yeah, right. So anyway, I was exempt from the draft. I lasted about, I think, 3 months. I went whipping down to Philadelphia and volunteered.
Now, you're about 22 years old at this time.
Yeah. And but it was that kind of a war, really. You volunteered. It had to be fought. And so I joined Navy, what they call their V-5 program,
Okay.
which was aviation. And in a hurry, I got moved to, went down to pre-flight school at University of North Carolina. And that was great. Marine drill sergeant really treated us bad. A lot of guys just didn't make it. Yeah.
Then you probably went on down to Pensacola.
Yeah.
flight
Well,
training.
no. First went to Philadelphia Navy Yard for primary.
Oh, okay.
And actually, they built the little yellow Perils, little biplanes.
Oh, that little,
was-
the PT-21, or no.
I don't know. Well, I forget
I
what we
forget it
called
too,
it.
yeah.
And then it was down to Pensacola.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful training. The Navy did a good job, and so I finished there, got my wings of gold.
Okay, what was your plane?
Well, N3Ns for mostly, and SNJs,
Oh, okay.
and things like that. Planes that were,
Available at the time, yeah.
yeah, some of the SNJ was actually South American country used them for first line fighters, but anyhow, they named me a fighter pilot, and I caught a train from Pensacola over to Jacksonville. Marnie was my girlfriend, was coming down from New York
Okay.
on that train. I stood on the platform, and her train was late because a troop train, they had priority.
Sure.
Yeah, and finally got on the train with her, went down to Miami, checked in the hotel 2 o'clock in the morning, got up next day, went down to headquarters, City Hall, got marriage license, rented a Chevy convertible, went looking.
Had to be a convertible.
Had to
for
be a
fighter
convertible,
pilot.
yeah.
That's right.
And went looking for a church. I didn't care what church. You're supposed to get married in churches.
Didn't make much difference.
Yeah, we
did it?
found we found a real cute little church and knocked on the door of the manse, and he asked him if he'd marry us, and he said sure, and his wife would be the witness. We walked over to the church, and there was the minister and his wife and Marnie and me and that was our wedding party.
Ah,
We didn't have either a friend or a relative within 900 miles. So, what chance does a marriage like that have?
I wonder about
It only
that.
lasted 68 years.
Oh, it probably would have lasted a little bit
Well,
less. if it had been
come
more.
on. Yeah, yeah, and then, of course we went steady before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then anyhow, I was stationed at Opelika, a nearby Naval Air Station.
Yeah.
There for advanced training.
Well, then you got shipped. Well, you went up to
Then
the
went
Great
up to
Lakes.
the
didn't
Great Lakes
Yeah.
to land on a carrier,
Yeah.
old passenger ship that had been
Now, that must have
converted.
been a fun thing, landing on
Well,
carriers.
that's what distinguishes naval aviators from everybody else.
I agree with
We
you.
land on a
No question.
aircraft carrier. Yeah.
That's right, especially when it's pitching. Huh?
Oh yeah, and I was on some short ones too.
Yeah.
Not only big ones, but short carriers, and it was often, and they didn't go very fast.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have much of a headwind, it was pretty dicey.
Yeah, landing pretty fast. My guess is that's where the term pucker factor came in.
Yeah, the what?
I guess that's when the term pucker factor came in.
Oh yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
All right,
Anyways,
so
yeah.
you learned to land on a carrier up there.
London, yep, you
the
betcha.
Great Lakes.
And I had 100 later, 100 carriers.
And then you got out and you
Went up to Seattle.
oh, okay.
Joined a brand new squadron, VC-66.
Yeah.
There were half fighters, half torpedo bombers.
Oh, okay.
And
Now this would have been about 42, 43.
43, I think.
43, okay.
And then that was fun in Seattle. Good. Had a good time. Then out to Shelton, little tiny airport, and real tough
Yeah.
trying to learn how to get along together. Lost our first two pilots there. On down to Southern California. We flew down, the wives and girlfriends went by train, and we were just north of the
San
Mexican
Diego,
border.
maybe?
Yeah, and went night flying over the Salton Sea.
Oh.
And we finished that. We headed for Hawaii, loaded aboard a carrier just as passengers, and got into Hawaii, spent some time on good, hard training in the area,
Yeah.
learning the islands, and I loved them. And then out to Invasion of the Marshalls
Okay.
was our first combat, and came back from that. And
Well, did you get to? Did you, as a fighter pilot, get to intercept some zeros or?
no, never did run into a zero in the air. Shot up on the ground, lots of
Yeah.
planes, and of course there was always anti-aircraft, and only one time did I ever get hit, and that was from ground fire. Spent lots of time with tracer bullets all going, but
yeah.
none seemed to bother me. Except one time I landed, and the crewman who helped me out of the cockpit said, "Look, sir, we're at a triangular, three-bladed propeller, and right ahead, right at my eye level, was a neat round hole. I'd been shot through my propeller.
Boy.
I didn't feel it, of course.
Yeah.
But where the bullet went after it got out of that propeller, I
It
don't
probably
know.
deflected it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
little,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, that was when I got hit.
Well, now after the Marshall Islands, you came back and you got onto a hunter killer
Yeah, that was hunter killer. One fighter and a torpedo bomber.
and looking for
Torpedo
submarines.
bomber He was the killer. He had all the heavy-duty depth bombs
Yeah.
and everything it took to take a crack at sinking a submarine.
And you were the fighter pilot.
I was a fighter. I was there to
Fighting cover.
protect
Yeah.
him.
Well, what plane were you flying then?
That was Wildcats.
Wildcats.
Yeah,
The
F4F.
F4. No, F4F was that a Wildcat?
That was the Wildcat, yeah.
Okay.
Hellcat was F6F.
Yeah, okay.
That I got on later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So anyway, the torpedo bombers were taught a little bit about how to recognize enemy submarines.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything for the fighters. They said, "Hey, we don't have any submarines out there. If you see a sub, sink it." That made it easy.
I'm surprised.
Nothing to,
Yeah,
just sink the sub.
I'm surprised we didn't have any subs out there. That seems to me a little dangerous.
Yeah, it was
for
a
subs.
little. It seemed a little strange, but anyhow, we were in the dead center of the Pacific, right smack, and I was out with a torpedo bomber, and we were at. It was a triangular path back to the ship, and we were just made a turn when I spotted a submarine fully surfaced. So I went in to make sure that the deck guns weren't being manned.
Did you participate in any other island invasions? You did the Marshalls?
Yeah, after the Marshalls, the toughest one of all was what was generally referred to as the Western New Guinea one, and the Moluccas. General MacArthur wanted to go back to the Philippines, and he wanted a real good airfield, and the Japanese had one.
Yeah.
And so big task force went out, and we spent 2 real tough weeks trying to take air, and did, but we lost men, and we were busy either in the air or in the ready room and getting tired, and torpedoes missed us. Our escort destroyer got hit, sunk, and we were getting tired. The flight surgeon was beginning to ground pilots. He brought some guys in to replace them, and they couldn't make it. And so pretty soon we took it for the general. But and they said, okay, you guys are finished. They sent us back to Hawaii.
Well, now we're getting close to the end of the war, and where were you when the atomic bomb was dropped?
Yeah, well, I had been assigned a brand new squadron, just plain fighters, F6s.
Oh,
yeah,
the
and
Hellcats.
that's when we picked up the Essex, took a station in Guadalcanal. Did the shakedown of a big aircraft carrier is an interesting thing to go through.
I'm sure it is.
Boy, what tight turns and everything. And I went through the canal and up the coast. That was when they dropped the bomb.
Yeah. So you were on your way back to the Pacific when they dropped
back to Pacific. That was when we went up to the top of the mark, and
in
now
San
we're back
Francisco.
around there.
So,
Yeah.
After the war was over, or after then, you didn't go home immediately, I presume.
Well, I had to wait for order. Went up and down the coast playing, until I had word to go back, and that was good. The state of Pennsylvania gave me $400, and while I was in the Panama Canal, geez, this is cute. I was in a bar, and there was a guy came in with a cat. It was I forget, was a wildcat.
Oh.
And he sat up on the bar and looked real smart, had a chain around him, and the guy said, yeah, she's toilet trained. So, went in the men's room, cat hopped up and did it. So we all bought him drinks. The guy I'm sure he never bought a drink for himself with that cat. It was an ocelot.
Yeah.
So with my $400 I got from Pennsylvania, I bought Marnie an ocelot jacket. And that was beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, we're down to less than 10 minutes, Charlie.
Well, it's fun.
Let's you got out of the Navy and you got a job with the AEC.
Yes, I did.
How did you come about that?
Well, I had
The AEC means Atomic Energy
Atomic
Commission.
Energy Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brand new. I had a friend and also a cousin. Cousin was he was really director of one of the agencies, forget what, and a friend was in the Atomic Energy Commission.
Yeah, now this was new.
It was new. It was
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to work for AEC, and they had a place down on one of the main avenues down. I forget where it was, and.
So you were in the office downtown
An
Washington.
office downtown there. But then when we began worrying about Russia and atomic bombs, we got sent out to Germantown,
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
The AEC headquarters.
AEC was out
Oh,
there.
Germantown is in Maryland.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And I was a member of a 5-man carpool from Virginia.
Okay.
All had Cadillacs, used Cadillacs, and we helped each other go out and look for good ones, you know. And we had 7 Cadillacs between the 5 of us.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it was a long trip out there to Germantown.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Then I started buying sports cars. I bought me a little MG.
You're a fighter pilot, so
I
naturally.
got sports cars.
That's right.
Yeah, and Triumph TR3s and 240Zs and all kinds of interesting sports
Okay.
cars. And I raced them in what they call cross racing.
Yeah.
But it was all in parking lots and real tight turn against time.
Yeah.
You know. And that was fun. That was fun.
I'm sure it was.
You know, and I was an old man doing that. And I don't know, I must have been maybe 40, something like that.
Yeah. So that's an old man,
An
huh?
old man.
I see. All right.
Yeah. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
I liked that.
And you probably did a lot of fishing and hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I loved it, yeah. I had
Did
shot
you get
my
involved in any other sports other than car racing and auto racing?
No, not really.
Golfing?
I played tennis.
Oh,
Did
tennis
some
and golf, maybe?
Tennis and golf, of course.
Yeah.
Belonged country club
Yeah.
there in Bethlehem.
Now, where did you live? You said you drove from Virginia up to Maryland.
Yeah, I stayed in Virginia.
Okay.
That was why the 5-man carpool
Okay.
went way out to Germantown.
You lived in Falls Church, is
I
that?
lived in Falls Church.
Yeah, on a farm maybe.
I lived on the farm,
Cloverdale Farm.
Cloverdale. Yeah. Now that was wonderful. We had our kids one at 2 at a time,
Yeah.
and I tried everything. I tried every kind of a animal I could think of that might ride, and had 2 Jersey cows. Had a man to help me full time. Lived on a
Jersey
cottage
cows
on
are
the
good because
property.
they're good for cream.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
Rich.
yeah.
They're just like little deer. Beautiful little animals.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we churned and made butter and all that kind
Okay,
of
well
stuff.
we're down to about 3 minutes now. We're getting pretty close, Charlie. We got a couple more things we got to cover here.
Okay.
All right. So you retired from the AEC.
Yep.
And did you do anything else? Work in any? You were
Yeah,
this was about 77.
briefly I worked for a metallurgical firm in Philadelphia, selling brass and bronze
Oh.
ingot, traveling all over the East Coast, up and down, visited corporations and government installations, so forth, buying scrap
Yeah.
and selling ingot.
Okay.
And then from there went down to AEC.
Okay, now you've retired from the AEC. You've worked, but you decided to come to Green Spring.
Yeah, well, between that was a big gap.
Yeah, I know.
I left AEC. I took early retirement.
Yeah.
I retired when I was 57, and haven't done a day's work since.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Pretty good. Yeah, and well, I had family things to worry about, and I guess the happiest times were on the farm.
Yeah.
The farm needed a lot of attention, and working full-time with AEC and being a gentleman farmer was demanding, but unforgettable.
Okay. All right, well, now let's get you into Green Spring, and Marnia passes away.
Yes.
Which is, I'm sure, very difficult, but you get into the play and the players, and you become a celebrity, and then you meet Jack Kaysen.
Yes, I did, on an elevator. Yeah. He had a strange-looking package. What is that? And he said it was bows and arrows, and so we got talking. Jack turned out was a national champion. Yeah, and with the.
Is he still here?
No, he's down in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And then he suggested that maybe I'd be interested, and he got me interested.
Good.
I loved it. Yeah, we worked out of Fort Belvoir, and it wasn't long, really. It was the first year. I mean, he was pushing me pretty hard, and I went down, tried Virginia, and that was, of course, these are senior Olympics, senior games, and nobody was there, so I won that, and that qualified me for the nationals.
Okay.
Every 2 years. And then when I tried the first nationals, there were 3 of us, and I came in 3rd.
So that's 2013.
And then 2 years later, there were another nationals, and
This
that
is
one I
2015.
became, I was national champion, because nobody else showed up.
This is when you were 90.
I was 97
95
or something like that. I forget what I was. Yeah.
96 maybe. So
96.
you became a gold medal winner in the
Gold medal winner.
All right.
And I didn't give it back. I'm keeping it.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Now, 2017, you didn't participate. Is that, or did you?
No, I didn't participate.
That's down in Alabama.
Yeah.
Too hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too hot, yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you still using the?
No. No, I don't
so
do that
you've
anymore.
had to give up that
I
goal.
hung it up, yeah.
You've had to give up that goal, or?
Yeah, while you're ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. I was hoping you'd make that over the 100.
Oh, I am going. You know, it was so interesting. Hitting 98 was wonderful.
Yeah.
Hitting 99 is nothing. It's a big triple-digit one.
That's right.
It's going to have you have to come to my party.
I'd like to do that. I'll even play for you if you'd like.
Okay, you definitely.
Whatever.
It's a deal.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on Who's Who. I've enjoyed it very much.
I had fun.
I hope you have too.
I had fun.
Reminiscing. All right, folks.